Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we're going to be talking about that damn JJ Redick again. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So let's get into this this topic here. As you guys know, we did a show yesterday that was centered on some comments that JJ Redick made on the big podcast with Shaquille O'Neal. And during their sit down, JJ Redick, I think they were discussing the greatest players of all time. And then Shaq said, listen, you guys can discuss who you want to discuss. My only issue is if you're mentioning Jordan, you're mentioning LeBron, make sure you mention Kobe Bryant. That was Shaq's only point. And then JJ Redick then says, you know what, I don't really like to participate in the GOAT debate. I think it's not dumb. I hate it or whatever. Then in the midst of all of that, he gets into this monologue of, if you think about what Jordan did, Jordan really played kind of in a watered down league because they added 6 teams and 90 players and all of that. So really the competition wasn't really that good. So what ended up happening was the following. Rasheed Wallace and Bonzi Wells, if you don't know who they are, just Google them. I know who they are. They used to play with the Portland Trail Blazers. Bonzi Wells was a bad boy, so was Rasheed Wallace. So they were reacting to what JJ Redick had to say. And as they were talking about it, Bonzi Wells basically said JJ Redick is on some. Now, for those of you who actually didn't hear the original comments or what JJ Redick said, we want to play what he had to say in its entirety for you now, and then we're going to come back and then play what Bonzi Wells and had to say in response. Take a listen to that there.
It's one of the reasons that LeBron is so great. I have refused, literally, and people will be like, you said this in 2017 when you played against him. Well, no. I was playing against him. Of course, I said he was the best player ever. I refuse to get into the GOAT debate. I don't care. They didn't play against each other. I do not care. What makes him great, well, a bunch of things, but what has made him great is the fact that he's done it now for 21 years at the highest level. Like, you talk about scoring, that's great. So one guy averaged 35 a year. Yeah, LeBron's never averaged 35 in a year. Guess what? He's averaged 25 or more for 20 straight years. No one's had more than 15 of those years. Like, that to me is, he's a scorer. But again, it looks differently. He plays differently. So it's all in the eye of the beholder.
LeBron is great to me because he's always done it the right way. When I played with LeBron, he was the greatest young leader I've ever seen.
Man, stop stealing stuff from my podcast.
No,
man.
He was. No, like, because when listen, I know he was, and I'm such a dominant personality. Like, I'm the guy that no matter what team I'm going to, this is my nobody says. But when I got there, like, he just ran it so perfectly. The way he treated the guys, the way he treated the organization, the way he was coached, the way he looked out for guys. Like, I don't even have to do nothing. And we definitely had a chance to win. We were in first the whole year, and Big Baby with his wild broke my hand. I had to be out for 6 weeks, and we came out and lost to Boston. I wish I wouldn't have had that absence away from LeBron, but he was one of the greatest young leaders that I've always seen. So he will always be in that conversation. The only thing I don't like about the conversation is they don't put my boy's name in it. You're right, I don't get either. But if you're gonna be throwing names around, you gotta have my boy's name in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Dwight?
That's like, yeah, Dwight. That's like saying, what are the best luxury cars out there? Lexus or a Beamer? You got to put the Mercedes in there too.
Yeah.
Just I don't like. I'm with you. I don't give. I don't care.
I truly don't.
But Mike, LeBron, or Kobe, now y'all debate. That's all I say about it.
I think it's fair to just say there are different tiers of greatness. And you could, by the way, like, I think it's fair even to be like, who's your Mount Rushmore? Who's your 4 greatest, or who's your 5 greatest? Who's your 10 greatest? Whatever it may be. Like, we're nitpicking. By the way, a lot of times we're comparing eras, we're comparing different rules, we're comparing the fact that, look, like, I'll say this with Michael Jordan, and I don't mean this to be controversial, but like, everybody talks about all these the context of this era. Michael Jordan, the Dallas Mavericks were added as the 23rd team in 1981. Jordan was drafted. During his heyday, 6 teams were added to the NBA. There were 90 players added to the NBA. Like, does that not water down? I'm not talking playoffs, by the way. No chance we're talking playoffs. Does that not water down the regular season to a degree? You lived it, right? You played against some of those teams. You played against the Bobcats, right? When they first came out.
Yeah.
Like, if we add 2 teams in 2 or 3 years, we get a Vegas franchise or a Seattle franchise, you're not telling me that the league for a little bit is going to be a little watered down?
Maybe a little bit.
So you heard what JJ had to say. So when these comments were brought to the table of Rasheed Wallace's show, they played it for him. And then after they played the comments, Bonzi Wells is like, JJ Redick ain't nothing but a big ass joker. So for those of you who didn't hear what they had to say, want to play what they had to say for you now, and then we'll come back and react to this comment. Take a listen to that there.
JJ Redick played too much.
What? Your thoughts?
Because that's not reality. It wasn't 90 new players that you just found off the street that came into the league. They had an expansion draft, am I right? They was drafting dudes.
I think it was 3 expansion drafts.
Yeah, they drafted people off the team. The dudes that was already in the team. So it wasn't like they would just be like
playing on there.
They were like, hey, camera guy, you want to play? You want to play tonight? Call some of your
Don't
homies.
be a Charlotte Hornet.
hey, cheerleaders, you got a boyfriend? See if he can come play. Like, they wasn't doing that. It wasn't like that. So I mean, I don't know what he's talking about, but I mean, it's easy to say Bron is that guy because you're seeing him right now. But the people who didn't really get a chance to really see Mike, like I'm from Indiana and WGN was local. I don't know if it was local for you guys, but I caught all the Bulls games, and that man right there was exceptional, like better than everybody. The stuff that he do, and like I said before, he has no advantage. He's not bigger. If you ever seen Mike is skinny, 6'6". He got some cuts on him a little bit, but he probably 210.
Wasn't no bulky.
He wasn't no
frame.
bulky dude. He wasn't.
Right.
He didn't have no physical advantage. It was skill. You know what I'm saying? Bron's 6'9", 250. He's a freight train coming down there. You bumping the Bron, you like, God. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but Jordan more athletic than the average 6'6".
No, fact. Like him and Kobe had more game. You know what I'm saying?
More skill set.
More skill set. No disrespect to Bron because we love Bron and everything he's done for the game and how he plays because he's awesome. But them two didn't have no physical advantages, man. Them dudes had skill sets. They was hitting real buckets. Like, they had to really create some space. They had to really manipulate some stuff, create angles for themselves. Bron see you there, he's just going right through you. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got to try to get around you.
I mean, why? If that's working, why would I not?
I'm just saying, though.
Yeah, but that's his
physical,
it's a skill set.
That's his physical advantage because now he can just go bully you, hit the layup. These guys didn't have no bully to their game. They had skill set to their game. I'm not saying Bron don't have a skill set.
Right.
Their stuff was, man, y'all just don't understand. Until y'all got a chance to play against them dudes, you don't really I played against all 3 and Sheed has 2. It's no comparison in my mind because them dudes was, man, like I said, I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't eat at night knowing I had to play them tomorrow. Man, like we said, like, bro, man, I ain't going out tonight, man. I'll see y'all later on. I'm in the room, man.
So you heard what they had to say in response to JJ Redick. JJ Redick, I believe, is part of the we're done with the 90s crew. Listen, here's what's happened. Prior to the last 3 years, we all agree that the 90s was a golden era of basketball. We all agree with this, right? That's when they had the highest ratings. Most people were interested in the sports in terms of them tuning in. Jordan was taking over the world, it essentially seemed. So what essentially happened was they didn't try to have a GOAT debate because they needed it for ratings, and they now went into this LeBron. They started that around 2016, 17. And in the midst of all of that, what they discovered was, wait a minute, we can't convince people of this thing of it really being a real debate. And when the Last Dance docuseries came out in 2020, they took a poll, even by ESPN, 70% of the people said Jordan is the GOAT, even after watching LeBron play now. Just after watching that 10-part docuseries, they were like, nah, he the GOAT. So they were like, okay, damn, that didn't work. So Clutch Sports and these guys, they sat down together and they're like, you know what? We've had people in media. We've had Nick Wright. We have Shannon Sharp in our pockets. We have Kendrick Perkins in some way. Gilbert Arenas somehow affiliated with him. I know that because Rich Paul, I saw he was acting. Dude, when Rich Paul came on the show, you would have thought it was the CEO of the show. I'm like, what's going on here? Ask the guy questions, push back on some of what he said. They were just sitting there listening to him. Like, I'm like, did the Oracle just walk in? So they said, okay, we're going to get these guys in media to argue on the behalf of LeBron. And that wasn't really working. So then they said, okay, you know what? Let's try something new. Since we can't diminish Jordan because they now tried to say winning rings, ring culture is toxic, all of that stuff. Because they can't do it now, all of a sudden it's toxic. When they were setting out to do it, they needed to do it. But now all of a sudden it's toxic. Then they said, okay, let's try something new. Since we can't diminish Jordan as a player, let's try to diminish his era. Let's try to diminish his era. And this is the new one that they're on now. This is the new campaign that they're on. But it's really not convincing anybody because the only people that are actually subscribing to it are LeBron fans, other NBA fans don't agree with none of this. And it's not working. So they're just moving from one thing to the other in a desperate attempt to convince people. And it's not working. They try to put out some poll on ESPN talking about, oh, they poll the players in this club. They're talking about current day players. And even the modern day players still pick Jordan. And I think they only polled about 150 players or something like that. So listen, it's not working. When you have a person like JJ Redick basically trying to put out a statement and say, oh, the league was watered down, you have Bonzi Wells respond like, stop playing. You're acting like as if they went and got people off the street. They got other NBA players and drafted them to those teams. And had he not pointed it out, I wouldn't have known that. And a lot of people want to know that. So people that ran around saying, so this is what they do. And the joke of it all is you're saying the 90s are done, they're trash. So what era is exactly good? This one? Are you kidding me? Where players can't even make it through a season anymore. Now, if a player plays a full 82-game season, all of a sudden you guys want to hand out biscuits and cookies and twerk it up all over the place and knock over people's drinks and slap each other while honey talking about, oh, look what we did. Like, really? This where we at? This is what we doing? This is what we doing? It came to this. It came to this point. You know, and listen, that's JJ Redick for you. He's a LeBron guy. He's a LeBron fan. He's a LeBron business partner. So what do you expect him to do? What do you expect him to do? What he just did was a classic case of omission. He omitted a piece of information, put out the other information, and therefore you'll confuse people. You got people running around the comment section, twerking it up all over the place, knocking over people's drinks, gyrating all over the floor, talking about, oh, we got you. Now you ain't got a goddamn thing but a bucket of honey in your house. That's all you got. That is all you got. These are my thoughts. So for those of y'all running around thinking JJ Redick that new wave, y'all can have him. I thought JJ Redick was going to bring a new, fresh take to sports. All he did was just turn into another LeBron James apologist, twerking it up all over the screen for us and disrupting our television. Damn near knocked over my fishbowl the other day watching his twerking ass. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.